This is Weird Renegade Witches blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done. Of course, go to the Weird Renegade website. See the phone number there, including email. Understand most of the time I don't answer emails. Again, you have to let me know that you forwarded over something. However, you could always text me, and you already know that you can hit me up on social media, on Instagram. It takes me a minute to kind of look at the Instagram right now. I'm kind of looking through the frequencies of it. However, as you already know, the one-on-one monthly lessons are going to start up again in November. One-on-one monthly lessons. However, you can hit me up for one-on-one lessons where I work very closely with people, advocating, mentoring, work, and more. And understand work is separate from the one-on-one energies. Okay, that's just where it is, because the one-on-ones is a full energy of frequencies talking about various matters and more. It's like I do a hell of a lot of shit. But also understand that art is occultism. Occultism is a motherfucking art. Wayward is about that revenge, redemption, responsibility, and that motherfucking spell work. And you know, Wayward does that indie as occultism. I just quickly wanted to go through a couple of frequencies. I have questions and more. I've been noticing, of course, in these years, that holidays and the frequencies of these holidays have dwindled. And more as we're getting third world people in the world and they have their own cultures and foundation, it kills the fabric of work in America, especially among American Black people. However, Black people got themselves involved in all of this Hindu and consciousness, and everything you say to them is what it is and what it ain't. I was part of it. However, as I talked about the Christmas energy, that's an altar. Thanksgiving is an altar, okay? Halloween is an altar. I really don't give a fuck what you think and who and hollow and he ha ha. I don't give a fuck. The thing about it is that you want to create your altars at this time. This is a time not other than Juneteenth, as you guys, but also Halloween is a great energy to acknowledge your ancestors, no matter who they are, what they are, okay? And I'm noticing when I walk around my neighborhood and I'm looking around the universal soul, people are not decorating their yards anymore. They don't even decorate the inside of their homes anymore. You don't even see pictures in the windows anymore. And I was having this interesting discussion with my spiritual constituent / client. And I told her personally, I said, you don't have creativity because you're too busy looking at social media. And I said, another downfall of certain frequencies in the world and holidays and so on is that people are too busy up in other people's business in their fucking house, seeing what the fuck they eating, what the fuck they doing, how they designing their whole decor. Okay? And if you get your asses off of social media, maybe you'll learn some fucking creativity. Maybe you're not going to sit up there and look at other people's shit, listen to other people's philosophies on what you should be doing. We should have a tribe, but not to literally sit up there and listen to bullshit ass shit on social media telling you not to be human, not to be creative, not to be religious, not to be in spirit, not to be anything. Just the creativity and thinking out the box is gone because you have let social media think for you. And I'm noticing another reason why there's such a frequency, especially people designing their front yards, is because people too busy looking at other people's shit on social media. We are too busy listening to bullshit ass Trump shit and not minding our business. Venezuela is none of our fucking business. They've been fucking around with Venezuelans, with Venezuelans. I know them. They've been here. The fucks? All this distraction ass shit. This year, I designed the front yard as a whole botanica. Bitch. Tarot botanica. Starting from the graveyard into the botanica. I watched this Indian bitch walk her dog. I was watching on the motherfucking camera. This is why you gotta watch hoes. I watched this Indian bitch have her fucking dog all up in the shit, right? Because you understand, when you put shit on your front yard for anything you do, for any holidays, Thanksgiving, I don't give a fuck, Kwanzaa, whatever, Christmas, Halloween, whatever it may be, whatever you may celebrate, that's your fucking altar. And when motherfuckers come walking by, you gotta watch them. And when they bring their fucking animals, you gotta watch them fucking dogs too. You gotta watch all that shit. Because you gotta understand, these third world motherfuckers know that they feel that they could come and step on your feet and disrespect it. And I've been noticing with these Indians, they do that. I had to tell an Asian guy that one time when he came into the house and he seen something and he wanted to go touch it. And I said, get your hands off of that. You don't touch that. And he was like, oh, I didn't know. You just move your ass on from it. So when I seen that bitch walking down the street, I was watching her. I said, that bitch right there, I know where that bitch live. For real. This energy right now, black people, I don't give a fuck what it is. You need to be doing your motherfucking work. Because they have, and they are. I was also telling someone, black people need to stop burying their people and cremate them. I was talking to some Mexican people in reference to bones. And it's very interesting. It's been roaming around on social media how in some energies, they basically, it's a process, but basically wash off the bones of their people. It's not only them. I've seen it in other cultures, right? However, depending on your black culture, on your indigenous culture, it will guide you of how to bury your dead. Black people tend to bury their people because they believe it's biblical. Bullshit. Burying people controls the mechanism. Burying people causes man to come back and uproot you. You're stuck in a time capsule. But when you cremate, that's a different type of frequency. And that's something maybe you should look into. As black people. That Verzuz, huh? I thought the shit was fake. I thought it was an AI. I didn't know it was real until one of my spiritual constituents hit me up from Louisiana, was like, girl, you looking at the Verzuz? I was like, a who and a what? What is this a distraction for? And when I seen all them weird niggas up in the crowd, I said, them some weird niggas. Then I found out he was in Vegas. Then I'm finding out the people of Louisiana tripping on what the fuck is going on. How come it wasn't in Louisiana? Matter of fact, why Birdman and Master P going up against each other? I said, shit, they should just make one big group. The fucks. And then everybody talking about, yeah, Mia X, she did that, da 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 da. You know? And I'm like, okay, but are they gonna do her like Gangster Boo though? You remember 3-6 Mafia and Gangster Boo just because according to the calculations of Gangster Boo's death, incorporating with Mia's ex-birthday, it calculates. They out here playing in our faces with this industry shit, but what's really going on? And then apparently, what is it? Another person from Louisiana, a rapper, that they're saying that's connected. Young Bleed. Was just at the Cash Money Verzuz and No Limit Verzuz. He was there? What happened? Performing one single, how you do that? Huh. Very interesting, right? I said, they already know that Verzuz is ran by a certain energy. They already know what it is, what it ain't. So why are we over here playing with Verzuz, right? We already know it's owned by a third world person. We already understand there's sponsors behind it. Y'all need to stop getting yourself all filled up with Birdman. You don't know that nigga. We don't know where Birdman is from. People from Louisiana don't know shit about no Birdman. They know shit about everybody else, but they don't know shit about him. They then changed his zodiac from Libra to Aquarius. And I'm not going to fight with you people about, no. He was a Libra. Because technically Master P and Birdman under the zodiac world and the layman world of fucking horoscopes, they are the same people. In calculations. Then the Libra falls into the gatekeeper and magician, where the Taurus falls into God. But both of them leap and go backwards. Aquarius, they was being funny, trying to trump with the Aquarius and the Leo, and then it throws it off. You can't. Then they mixed it up with Tamar. And y'all should have been in known there was some weird shit between he and Tamar. They said that shit a couple of years back when Tony Braxton was on there and brought him on the show, and Tamar was dropping lugs. I said, oh, I don't know why people shocked about this part. They were dropping lugs then. It was some interesting shit popping off. Other than y'all sitting up, saying what he is, what he ain't with his dick balls. But when it comes to some female energy, that right there. And you already know there's something going on with Tamar. And then you dropping in Mia X. What's his brother name? Silk the Shaka? Is it Silk the Shaka? Am I tripping? His little brother? Masterpiece little brother? I don't even know why they get him rapping. Get him riled up. Snoop Dogg came out gatekeeper. C Murder. Where in the fuck is C Murder? They need to stop playing in our faces with C Murder. When you kind of review the case, you know damn well it's something else popping up. What is he really in jail for? Because it couldn't be. Because when you really look at the young man and read the story, something's very suspicious. And the young man looked gay. Yeah, he looked gay. Matter of fact, he looked like those warehouse kids. I'm talking about the ones from the fraternities that be up in the warehouses. That kid looks gay. And what the fuck was he 16 years old doing up in that damn club, allegedly? We need to stop playing with these stories and the people in it and their mamas and shit, and we don't want to talk on it and say, that don't make sense. Well, hey, what? We don't have no more questions, huh? Okay. I don't know what type of bullshit is going on with this, but what it is what it ain't. I'm just waiting to see what the fuck they're going to do with Mia X. I don't have time for Birdman and Master P playing games with women. Master P was supposed to sit his ass down anyway, remember? This industry ass shit. Birdman always talking shit. You already know that's a bitch nigga. And he does bitch talking. But when you look at that birthday, as they have him in the month of February, them numbers ain't nothing nice. And I was just talking to someone yesterday. She was like, yeah, you right. Nobody can put their finger on where in the fuck Birdman is from. I said, exactly. Everything is a fucking illusion. They were saying, you even know where Master P is from. And how he came out. He has a history and story behind him. Birdman doesn't. They was talking about Manny Fresh, who I really think he and Jay-Z are related. Because I was looking at them features and looking at them features. I said, Lord, this is one of a kind. This is one. What tribe they? It's one of a kind shit. So they was talking about Manny Fresh and all the rest of them. This industry shit. This whole shit was a distraction. It was a distraction. Okay? I just don't have time for all that bullshit. Food stamps, huh? I seen where black people was doing spell work on them food stamps. I don't blame you. I don't trip on that. But what I do trip on is the fact of bewitchery of Indians talking big shit about taxpayers' money and shouldn't be taking care of motherfuckers who are on food stamps. No, can we just get into either were you trying to sell off the energies of the food stamps and Medicaid and Medicare to a private entity? What fell through? What is the psychological warfare? What is the soup line? What is the focus? And why does the social media keep putting black people in front of this whole system, this whole social care system, from Medicaid, Medicare, from food stamps to welfare, which is on straight cap? You want to know who's on motherfucking welfare, on AFDC and food stamps and Medicare, Medicaid, and Medi-Cal? You better look at them damn Indians. They be up in that fucking Trader Joe's and Whole Foods shopping it up, and it is the man who holds the EBT. Who else is under them are those Somalians, Ethiopians, Eritreans. Then the border motherfuckers then came over here, got on aid and everything else. Then you have them Hondurans over there in Louisiana. Then you have the Asians coming in. Mexicans are angry with Mexicans because you got the Mexicans who work hard, who don't get on aid. Then you have the other Mexicans who come in and get all the resources. So that small group of black folks that you seeing on some aid, you have to understand the circumstances. I don't give a fuck about no shit like that. Stop letting these people play in your faces with this fucking witchcraft and bewitchery ass shit. Then you just had a whole white Peckerwood shit going down. Now you heard me, I said Peckerwood. I'm talking about that Peckerwood gang, these Peckerwood motherfuckers. And I'm not being rude and disrespectful. I'm calling the gang out. And then I'm going to say white folks underneath it. Can we talk about them scams? The food stamp scams and welfare scams they've been pulling? Can we talk about the Peckerwood gang getting caught up in also food stamps? We don't want to talk about the Middle Easterns that been buying food stamps from motherfuckers. I don't blame them. All of this is just some bullshit. There's something else underneath it, and it is a distraction. Who's ever practicing some bullshit, they keep going backwards in time. Because you understand, if you fuck around with people's food, you are dismantling their whole frequency. You are weakening the system. You are weakening their consciousness. You are weakening their total values. You're weakening their total soul. So if you can sit up and play with food, you can control the mass. We all know this. We all know the witchcraft in this system. And they playing in our faces with it. Because in reality, it's not so much federal, it's really local. I know for a fact in state and city, all they have to do is press a button for your stamps to get on your card, for your aid to get on your card. You have all these cities talking about they're going to sue Trump for crime, basically crimes against humanity and human rights issue. But here's the gag. How come you can't sue the president? He gets immunity. Go look that shit up. So they can't sue the president, but they probably have to go, if they're going to really do something, they probably have to really go around and go towards the federal government and the administration that follows it. And the people behind that illusion that they call Trump. But other than that, ain't shit you could do with him. They know this. So don't let them play in your face. All these cities are part of it. Is it Portugal that was playing with people's pension and money? And how the United States are giving different countries payoffs with billions of dollars. We over here now involved. They done went from Gaza to Venezuela. I ain't got time for that. Be witchery. You black people voted for Trump. Most black people voted for Trump. I don't blame you. I got it. But he straight bait and switched you. The concept of it. But I would recommend not looking at Trump. Look at the system that follows him. Who are the team players? We don't know who that is. They already trying to take him out. They already trying to look at the amendment to say that basically he is incoherent. So they can move in JD Vance and his Indian wife and play in your fucking face. And then trying to put out that maybe he do a third term. Bullshit. I don't have time for them to be playing games, tearing down, the East Wing? Demolishing it because they want all them president witches gone. They want it, man. Because you're having a new Asian culture enter into the White House. When I heard gold and white and gold and gold and gold, I said that's Asian. Philippines? Indonesia, who is it? Indians, who? What Asian? I don't know. Middle East? I don't know. Show not Jews. They don't want none of them witches on that wall. Understand that whole East energy, East Wing, and the feminine energy that was invested, including the Rose Garden, feminine energy, that's letting you know they're trying to kill off women. They don't want nothing to do with you. Kill the witches. They want to Salem you. They want to, what is it, Tetubia you. That's all these men been doing for centuries and decades and centuries before Christ, after Christ. Kill them witches. Kill them. We don't even know that Jezebel was just a whole country of witches. Endor. A whole country of witches. Women. Ain't got time for it. Somebody in my comments in my last video said apparently that my lipstick looked like cum. I said, okay, you mean ejaculation from a woman or man? Which one is it? Because you know I entertain shit like this. Because I can understand if you're saying that it looked like a woman, because a woman, what comes out, or her ejaculation, or whatever you want to call it, is white. But nowadays, I haven't seen white ejaculation, sperm come from a man, white, in years. These niggas walking around here with fucking venom. Vicious. Acid. Yeah. So I guess the frost look like what it is. Subliminal programming, huh? So that made me go think about it. I haven't seen white and it stank. These men sperm be stanky and they got the audacity talking about sperm retention. Keep that shit. You will cause a woman to have an ulcer. Sucking that dick and that sperm come up out of there. Wouldn't even make it down the esophagus because it would have been and burnt a hole all through the fucking esophagus and fucking throat. You wouldn't even need to get your tonsils taken out, bitch. The sperm didn't fucking burnt the fucking tonsils out your fucking throat. Causing gonorrhea and syphilis. A fucking toilet. These men's sperm be having spots in it. And they eat bad. They eat bad. They eat a whole bunch of junk food. At least back in the day, men used to eat soul food and good food, heavy food. You women out here sucking up and drinking fucking Big Macs and fucking chicken McNuggets. And Chipotle. Wingstop. You think he doing something because he done made some fish and grits. Out here on that dope and drugs, smelly. This sperm out here looking gray, yellow, mucusy, vomit, spots in it. So I don't know which one you talking about. These men walking around here with unclean spirits. They out here producing zombie babies with that vicious ass cum. These men need to keep it. Just wanted to entertain it. In my comments, somebody was saying that I believe their co-worker tried to offer them drugs, or somebody tried to offer them drugs. And I think she said she didn't want to have an alien baby or basically a drug-infested baby. Right? I think she said alien babies because you know that fentanyl and that trank shit creates alien babies. Which is totally different from the crack babies. Crack babies were vicious. These new babies are zombies. Coming from that goddamn sperm, huh? Because people don't want to talk about how that IVF is just creating soulless babies. People been talking about that government shutdown is totally illegal. And that furloughs is illegal. And again, they're talking about that it's all about really checks and balances. They don't want nobody watching them. They don't want nobody taking account or responsibility for anything going on in the government or outside of it. That's why they want to privatize everything. In the government, federal government, state, city, there's checks and balances. And they're getting rid of the people or demoting them, of the people who basically do checks and balances. People out here tripping because Cash Patel people are still getting paid in the FBI, but many aren't getting paid. Right? Has nothing to do with no fucking Democrats and all that bullshit. Nothing. You hear about allegedly some damn monkeys that escaped and they got HIV, AIDS, hepatitis C, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, trichomonas. It has it all, right? The monkeys. And I said, and allegedly what they fell out the truck in Mississippi. I said, oh, here we go. This is some fucking ghouls, goblins, and gizzards. This is the same shit that this has been going on. This happened in what are we in the 20th century? The same thing happened in Puerto Rico. Then the Puerto Ricans got mad, said, get these fucking chlamydia monkeys up out of here. Then allegedly they moved them to the United States, to the Carolinas. And in some parts of the United States, you still see some fucking monkeys. And they were all lab rats, contaminated like a motherfucker. This been going on. This happened. Yeah, it was the 20th century. They've been having these monkeys fucking with germs and contaminated, chemical warfared up. I said, is this real? Is this a story? Because this sounds like the same fucking. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Earlier this year, there were some monkeys that escaped somewhere. Where did those monkeys go? Do you guys know in parts of the United States, there are literally animals like zebras, rhinoceros and shit roaming around? It's over here in California. So all type of shit going on. I ain't got time for that witchcraft. I have an energy going on. Someone tried to extort my black ass. I had to call up the Masonic Temple and complain. I call this the Amaya Hunt story. I had a young lady that I was mentoring, guiding her, helping her through the way, pushing for her to go to school, of course, in the UK. I've talked a little bit about her and some of these energies. Her family didn't back her up for her to go to the UK and stuff like that. And therefore, work was done. And then I had to mentor her, advise her of many things going on in the UK. Also being a black woman from California and certain energies and more. I've sat in at her school at faculty meetings, being another person in reference to her visa in school, and it's just on and on and on and on. Okay. We've always had a good rapport with each other and more. However, she moves. So understand, I'm her go-to when she was in London. Anything and everything that happened, I'm the go-to woman with her. She's Sag. However, you see I have on this wig. This wig is my Amaya Hunt wig. And as I get through the story, you'll understand. Okay? She's in school and something came up with her visa. You know, I guess they have to renew whatever they have to do. We was trying to work around it. But what it downright came down to is that she didn't handle her business in reference to her visa. Neither having the funds. Neither was her family trying to help her with that. Okay? However, one day, she decides to tell me that she went on the back page of London Pages and got caught up in prostitution, being an escort. No judgment, just I was a little appalled because, one, she kept it a secret. The other part of it is the conversations that we would have, but she's a Sag, okay? So when she advised me of the information, I was like, and she was giving a breakdown. I said, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. And I asked why this was going on, and that's when she revealed she needed to pay for her visa. And I was just like, could there be any other way? This and that. Why are you just not talking? And she admitted again that she waited later. However, one day I get a call. This is where this wig come in. She's on the run. I said, what's going on? They're after me. I took the money and I left. I said, what? Wait, what? That's when I found out she was being pimped by Nigerian women in London. And I said, what happened? I was at the Airbnb because they would host it at the Airbnb, but they would lock the door. So the women couldn't get out. And she said, it'll be no conversation. She told me it'll be Ethiopian, Eritrean girls, all of that there. Getting with the get down. And so I'm like, so these Nigerian women, who are they? And she was kind of explaining. And I said, you being pimped by some Nigerian women and you an American woman? Huh. That didn't sit well with me. I said, So she's on the run because she didn't took the damn money. She calls me. I said, what the fucks? She's hysterical. She's panicking. She don't know what to do. I said, well, why are you scared? They don't know where you live. Well, they do. They've called me an Uber. I said, oh, you getting goofy like a motherfucker. So then I said, so they know where you live. Yes, they know where I live. I said, just get in the house right now. Clean yourself up. Because she had on a wig just like this. And I said, get in the house right now. Go clean yourself up. Do not leave your apartment. The next thing I know, she's hitting me up. The women didn't found her. They didn't went into the apartment, which is like a dorm. The apartment which is like a dorm. Let off the alarm, hoping she'll run out. In the apartment building, which is like a dorm, they have a chat. So she said one of the neighbors on the chat said, hey, Amaya, these ladies came at my door looking for you, and I let them know where you live. I said, that's a dumb bitch. Who is that? She said, oh, it's my neighbor. I don't know. So as she's talking to me, I could hear they're banging at the door, and I could hear them calling her out. I'm like, girl, stay there. They kept texting her and calling her, I said, look, give me their information, give me their number. I'll call them and I'll text them. I'll deal with it. I'll get you up out of this. hit their asses up. They're talking shit. They're telling me you don't know da 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 da. And she does cocaine. She does this. She does that. I'm like, okay. And I let them where it is. That shit ceased. I went back to her. I said, what's going on with you? Right? This is a whole story. So then to find out, she didn't got all involved with a trick from the place. He's supposed to be Nigerian or Scottish or Swiss, but there's a Nigerian up in that. And his first name is Lee, and he's supposed to be Masonic. Okay? So, and he's a Gen X. She's a Gen Z. I told her, I said, that's a trick. You don't get involved like that. Then I had to ask her, I said, what's up with you Gen Z girls? That's the first go-to is the prostitute. And then you guys want this fairy tale relationship with these motherfuckers. I said, he will never treat you right. He will never respect you. So she got all involved. So after that, she fell off. And I knew right then it was something wrong, because when she started dating him, she didn't communicate with me anymore. So then what started happening is I would hear from her almost 6 months to 8 months, or maybe even a year. And then the time that she contacts me, she's going through something. And she's apologizing for staying away from for long. A couple of times she's called me from her trips, like one from Spain where he beat her up and shit like that. Like he takes her everywhere. Like, but it's not copacetic, because I told her, I said, he might be setting you up to traffic you. He put her up in this apartment that was dirty. It was just crazy. And I kept trying to educate her, but that spermicide, that dick, then got a hold of her, right? And she didn't want to hear nothing that I'm saying. And I'm like, damn, when ejaculation and sperm come in, women just forget who in the fuck they are. Just like that twin flame shit. They forget who they are. That's me personally. I don't really like dealing with couples, meaning this, people who are married or in relationships, because black people tend not to shut their fucking mouth. If you're in a relationship, why in the hell are you telling them that you didn't hire me for work? That's none of their fucking business. If it's a man who hired me, his woman is insecure because I know more about him than she does. If it's a woman who hired me and she has a man, he feels insecure because his woman is growing up. But then you get these energies, especially with women, and they under that spermicide, and they get all that ejaculation in them, they'll turn. They'll be vicious. That's why I said, don't hit me up if you are a coward ass bitch. Get you a backbone. Amaya turned into a coward. But when she would hit me up, I'll still talk to her. I'll still back her and say, get away. I told you about this man. This man beats her up, vicious, hurt her, harm her, leave her out, send her videos of him fucking women, don't know if this other bitch is pregnant, whatever. So after a while, I didn't hear from her. In August, I hear from her. Oh, at the end of July, August, I hear from her. Apologizing again. I said, okay, I need you not to leave. I need you to get from underneath him. He didn't hurt her again. I said, what's up with your father? Oh, my father calls him and asks him for money. I said, so your dad done sold you to him. Okay. So meanwhile, so you understand, she's from Southern California, but she went to school in London, and then she's back here in Southern California. So, and I'm talking to her, And I said, give me Lee's number and his information. She gave me his number and information. And I said, this girl better not go back to him or trying to get him riled up. I said what I said to him. That night, that girl sent me an interesting text. Just before that conversation, she told me she wanted to get pregnant by him. I said, don't you have no kids by him? I said, you got your master's degree, you got your energies ahead of you. At the end of the day, I say, if he's a Mason and he's a Mason over there in London, then how come he not pulling you in it? And she was just discussing how he keeps getting off of shit, like crimes. And he be on this elongated probation knowing that he should be in jail. Shit like that, okay? So, just to say all of that, that night, she sent me an interesting text and I was like, oh, well, this is no longer. Okay. Then I haven't heard from her since August. Mind you, this is the Amaya Hunt story. I ain't told you everything, but I want to tell you some shit. This girl sends me a text, a weird one, trying to extort money out of me, saying that I need to give her 7K in 48 hours. And just, I'm like, what? There's more. I said, what in the Illuminati Masonic shit is this? And I'm peeping the numbers, I'm looking. And then as it kept progressing, I said, she didn't write this. Then I asked, I said, where's Amaya? Put her, I said, and I was like, Amaya, call me from your local number. What's going on, Amaya? Are you okay? Do you need help? And I was talking to people about it, and people were like, I don't think she's here on earth anymore. But I kept seeing her sitting. I kept seeing her alive. But just in a place. I told the person, I'm going to send a wellness check to her father's house. Later, I end up calling, or the person I had called for me. First called Amaya, then called the boyfriend. The boyfriend calls back. The boyfriend talking shit, and he admits that he's the one asking for this money. It was so convoluted. And he was threatening this and threatening that. And I'm going to have my Masonic brothers. I'm a statesman. I said, nigga, please. I was just letting him have it. And all he kept doing was spewing out threats. I said, what in the extortion is going on? So I protected myself. Because I said, where is they? Then I said, are they pulling from that 2018 Assura Star Goddess and all them whack bitches who had their groups write that negative shit saying I'm a fraud? Did they look up some information that said I'm a scammer from 2018 and thought that was going to be held against me? Because Amaya knows what's up with that. Everybody knows what's up with that shit. Right? So anyway, I said, is that where they pulling from? I was intrigued. I wanted to know. I wanted to see how far this was going to go. So I ended up calling the police, having a wellness check. Because I was like, is she okay? So the police calls me. They're at the father's house. The father's all confused. He calls Amaya. Amaya's sitting up there with the nigga, with Lee. And I said, I knew that's what I said. I knew she was sitting there with him. What in the crackhead dope fiend shit is going on? What in the sacrifice fucking Masonic Illuminati bullshit is happening here? Because I know she wants to be on the come up. when it was all said and done, I said, what the fuck? The father was trying to test my pimping, was asking me what numbers did I have of hers. I gave him all the numbers. I read all the text messages in the police. He was like looking at the father. I said, that's a cold game and a cold piece of spell work. She got under that sperm and tried to do for my man and tried to extort me. Then I started thinking, I said, is this what happens to entertainers and celebrities or famous people? They just make up some bullshit and extort you. And if you don't do it at a certain time, they for real try to take you out. And I know I'm saying this, but really being in it is like some shit. I was so disheveled that I said, why? And the reason why I was disheveled is because I'm like, the Masonics and the Freemasons let these caliber of motherfuckers up in their shit. And we wondering why shit is fucked up. He is a low budget criminal that wanted to extort, and you telling me they're supporting this shit? I said, no wonder people getting busted and all of this shit. So we have a woman trying to extort her occultist who mentored her, who supported her, because she's with this spermicide nigga. He's supposed to be Masonic. She looking up to him. She met him while she was hoeing, being pimped and pandered by Nigerians. He's Nigerian. He peep who she is. He sees her background. He knows that I'm her support system. And when them dick balls are in effect, ain't it shit. Ain't shit I could do or say, because she drinking the sperm, she licking the sperm, and the sperm is being ejaculated in her body. She would have to get a full detox and deprogramming from him. That's why I was off. That's part of my deprogramming. That's part of deprogramming. You have to deprogram yourself off these relationships. But she has too much ejaculation to do that. She has too much ejaculation on her face. It's in her nose, throat, eyes. So she was part of just about a crime scene. And don't tell me the feds aren't working, because the feds called the police and the police came to my door. I said, the feds are working? Bitch. Because I didn't even file a report in my area. And the police was like, they admitted it. They were like, yeah, they contacted us and we want to make sure everything is okay. This and that, blah, 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 blah. I was just more like intrigued. They're helping. What? I got a Freemason house and I gave her first and last name and his name and their numbers. I say, you need to revoke his energies. What is this? No bullshit, no lies. I know I'm not going to say which one I call. because I got advisement. This is scary. This is the new world of occultism. See, he thinks because he's in the practical ritual world that we just going to override spirit because the spirit can't do shit. It is man. There is no spirit. You need to get where you need to go. You got to get over here with this group. And if you need to sacrifice whosoever, that's what you do. That's why I talk a lot. People got to be careful being with these entertainers or people who are trying to come on to come up, because you will end up dead. Matter of fact, they'll kill you themselves. So in a way, the sacrifice he was trying to do, in a way, was kind of like a money sacrifice. But in reality, he's just angry that his woman came to me, and he knows that I mentored her. He knows all of this, and she gave him details. So she was part of this shit. She's the core. It's just the fact that he was trying to use his Masonic frequencies against me, and he's a fucking Pisces and a man. The fuck? You thought you was gonna punk me? Over texting? And then what is this? So it just made me look at the whole Masonic and Freemasonry world a little bit different, because we understand that there's a whole lot of crimes going on. I'm starting to reevaluate a lot of these abandoned houses. Oh, if you wonder what else happened, that fool ended up contacting me on Monday, talking about I got 24 hours. I said, nigga, please. Then he called from another number, nigga, please. Or texted, whatever. And rigmarole and roll. Well, what are you talking about? And I had to tell him, I said, you don't know that I heard the phone call when the police was there, when Amaya said that she didn't even text me? And she was lying? But she know of you doing it? When her man Lee was talking to me, it made me think about Cash Patel. That whole NBA bullshit, that distraction, that black exploitation movie, talking about the mafia. But they cakewalking black people on social media and showing black faces. I'm about tired of this racial discrimination, ethnicity and all. I'm tired of them putting black people in front. They're just pawns. They're just what they are. Where in the fuck did the mafia come from again? Are we talking the Italian mafia? Are we talking about the Jewish mafia? Which one? Are we talking about the Indian mafia? The Hindu? Who are we talking about? Because the distraction is that they're not telling us that there are whole court cases going on with the Asians on trial. Old school gangs. They have us so distracted that we now looking at there's a trial that's went on or whatever with a Jewish man or the Jewish people stealing properties from black people in New York. And how their whole Orthodox energy supports him. We should have that support. That's better than Masons. That's way better than Masons. Just like the Koreans, when that Korean police officer killed that young man, and really the Korean officer should have went to jail, but all the Koreans got together and rallied. You niggas out here in Masonry, shit. You see what's in Masonry. And when I looked at Cash Patel, I said, that's not Freemasonry with all these damn Indians running around everywhere. When you listen to the story of that NBA bullshit, there was an Indian reporter. They didn't push their fucking religion. They're out here buying businesses. They're buying businesses from the Middle Easterns. They're buying businesses from the white folks, taking over. And then went through that whole Hindu religion. Talk about they pray at home, pray at their business, and pray at the church. What church? Talk about they are the new vision of Hindu Christianity values, bitch. They out here playing in your face with this perinatal, what's it called, PCI services, having conferences and workshops. What is it, PCI, whatever, perinatal for mental health of pregnant women. So they got all these Jews and white women talk about yoga and Hindu. And they're out here doing hypnobirths or hypnotic births and pregnancies. And then these fucking conscious people underneath that shit, controlling pregnant women, fucking up your babies before your babies even come out your fucking womb. Having you over here indoctrinating you or pushing you in fucking yoga and Hindu during pregnancy. And then the white women over here playing around with this OCD shit, and they don't even feed their children. They don't even feed themselves. I want to focus on that part of energies, that hypno pregnancy and hypnobirth. I want to detox from that. I want to get into that. However, I have a doula over here, and you got to pay her. Women, you could hit her up. She could talk to you with Zoom and all of that, and talk to you about your pregnancies, get you underneath all this bullshit, talk to you about diet, exercise, health, nutrition, how to take care of your babies, midwives, birthing. If you wanted the conscious community, she can debrief you on that bullshit. So if you want to fuck with her, text me and then I'll connect you with her and you guys can work it out from there. That's hands-on. And she's out of the Maryland area, but it doesn't mean that she can't talk to you via Zoom, bitch. Black women, we have to stick together in this energy because they're really trying to fuck up our kids. She was talking about the labor and delivery, was it the rate of so many black women dying, and she's saying she think it's on cap. I believe so too, because she says she's wondering, does it incorporate abortions? I said, I think it incorporates abortions because they're not talking about how they're giving black women these fucking abortion pills. And these crazy black women out here aborting their kids through these pills and then going having sex, not knowing that if you have sex with a man, that's bacteria. That can kill you. That's an issue. Why are they not telling us that the black women, and I'm just going to say black women, but in Maryland, and I forgot what part of Maryland, that there is a high rate of pregnant women who have syphilis. Why are we not talking about that? We over here concerned about Young Thug, this man who have droopy titties as Young Thug, when we know Young Thug has tattoos and all that. We know that's not Young Thug. Just like we know that Gucci Mane does not have schizophrenia, neither is he bipolar. You know this. And I'm about tired of you black women out here talking about his wife. She put that Jamaican spell work on him. No, she's a ranch bitch. They giving these black men ranch bitches, just like Neo got a whole bunch of ranch bitches. We all know that he liked that dick, allegedly. Which loops back into these frequencies of women who are pregnant and have fucking syphilis. So we have fucking zombie babies due to fentanyl and these drugs just popping out women's wombs. Some of them are OD'd and the child pushes its way out. So we have these alien babies. Now we have men who go outside, have sex, come back and giving their pregnant wives or girlfriends disease. I told you about what was going on in Philadelphia, but I guess it goes on everywhere with these men going up in them tent houses and being in them and having sex with the homeless men. Not only rape, but volunteer sex and pay for it and go have anal sex and shit. We're distracted. Maybe some of this shit of these abandoned houses of CEOs and all this shit taps back into what we talk about with the feds, with the trafficking, with the drugs, with the women, with what is really going on. Families disappearing. They're not showing us these abandoned houses for nothing. More and more of these white men are being busted for white collar trafficking crimes, world crimes, international crimes. And we're being distracted by some fucking fake ass story about the NBA and monkeys. Verzuz, but women are out here pregnant with syphilis, pregnant, and they're trying to hide it. This new birthing system of Hindu, and they're trying to take the soul out the body, put it back in the body in pregnancy. That's a whole other energy. That's what I want to get into. Because during pregnancy, you are close to death. Anyway, allegedly, Gavin Newsom may run for president. Allegedly, Kamala may run for president. They would win. They would win. Scott Wiener, he's just a pervert. Look up some of his shit. This is what's going on. This is what they're trying to distract you from, of looking at this shit here. Anyway, this is Weird Renegade Witches Blog. It is up when you want some real motherfucking work done.